Hi, my name is Andirene Banks-Coleman, and today in this presentation I want to share my journey, how my life experiences and background have shaped how I communicate and relate with people. I'll also talk about the different things and the different religions that I've gone through in my life experiences and what I have learned from this class. First thing that I have are videos. Basically my PowerPoint. I'm not too good at doing this, as you can see. This is like my 15th time trying to do it, but I'm going to try my best. It's basically going to show you slides of who I am, where I came from, my identity, and how my life has changed, my communication style, my learning challenges, when I stopped listening to myself, the shift, finding my voice, my goals, strategies, research, goals, communication, holding myself accountable, my references. All of this will be included in my slideshow. For my introduction, my behavior blend and background, communication barriers, goal, and strategies. Talking to a camera is a little different than talking to people, so you'll have to bear with me for a moment, but I will talk for the 10 minutes that I'm allotted, as you told me, well, as instructed in this class. Talking to a camera, as I say, is much different because I don't have any feedback. I don't have an audience. I had to write my PowerPoint slideshow has 15 slides. In my PowerPoint slides on page 2, I'll be talking about my behavior background and how things focused for me. With my behavior background, that comes from religion, respect, and how I treat people and how I want to be treated. My agenda for this will be making sure that I am pouring into me, how I interact with people, and how my listening skills work. Pouring into me comes from relationships and past friends that I've had, and I've poured into them, and that basically means that I've given them my all, made sure that I was a good support system for them, and made sure that they were always okay, and put my life on the back burner. What I have always done was show a smile, put on a face. No one really know what was going on inside of me. Depression runs deep in my family. No one knew that I was depressed. No one knows that I was defeated in the inside. I've had 2 marriages. One failed. One did okay. Well, I guess it didn't really fail. He died. He wasn't a nurturing individual, but he felt as though as long as he took care of the household, the bills were paid, that I was fine. We had 2 kids. I love them to death. And I'm also remarried 11 years later, and I have 2 kids by my second husband. They're basically night and day. I learned how to love myself through my second husband. He was a nurturing person. He's a realistic person. He basically still takes care of the household, but he makes sure that I care for me. Family and friends are okay, but family will overwhelm you, and so will friends. They will constantly need and want, and I don't care how people feel. Everybody knows when something is wrong with you. There's just a certain sense. I've seen people smile, and I've seen people sit around and say, oh, everything is great. No, everything is not great. It's something wrong. I found myself not expressing myself, not telling people that I was having issues. With that being said, you will have a nervous breakdown behind something like that. So how I evolved in identifying myself as a person, what I've learned to do is I've learned to have a voice. I've learned to speak up. I've learned to say what's wrong with me, what may be on my mind, how I feel about things. So that was all a part of my communication skills. When you have good communication skills, you're fine. As far as a job, I'm a probation officer. In my probation officer skills and in my job, I can do my job very well. I'm very outspoken. It's a role that I'm playing, and when you learn that there's a difference between a role and real life, you realize that you are by yourself. When it comes to real life, you need a support system. When I'm at work, I'm a superior officer, which is okay. I don't feel too superior on this computer right now because I feel kind of crazy just talking to myself. I'm hoping that I gain a lot of experience and knowledge from this class. I'm learning to interact with, communicate within myself and let other people see what's going on in my life. I have always been a support system for any and everyone in my family. I have never let anyone realize that I've had my own personal issues, and I've always kept a smile on my face. But with the job that I have, we have to have great listening skills because we do deal with a lot of people that have mental issues, depression. They're in and out of prison. They don't understand why they're being violated. So basically, you have to break down those communication barriers. When you learn to listen, sometimes they don't need any input. And if they do need input, before you give it, make sure that you know what they need input on. Don't just go by an assumption. Listen to what they're saying and process it before you sit back and give them an analysis of what you think. Like, for instance, I could say something as small as things aren't going right at home. I'm having issues with surviving, or I'm having issues that I don't have anyone to talk to. Just listen to what they got to say, and sometimes they want your input and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just want that listening ear. So sometimes you just have to be that listening ear for someone. Checking on me. I need to learn to listen to me, making sure that I'm mentally okay and giving perception, and learning not to always give the perception that I am okay when I'm not. Sometimes it's okay. You need to learn to trust in someone. In today's society can be cruel, and most people that you think that you can trust, it's just a certain span that you cannot. Finding myself and loving myself, that is a huge issue. Make sure that you are looking out for you, because if no one else is doing it, you have to do it for yourself. Finding my voice. I have a huge voice at work, and everybody knows Officer Coleman. With that being said, once I'm at home and I'm in my own element, I'm not that, even around family. I have to learn to separate work from home due to the fact that I give a lot of orders and I wind up barking and don't realize that I'm barking. When you're dealing with a hostile environment, 12 to 15 hours a day, sometimes we get, less hours, but normally it's 12 to 15 hour days, and you have maybe a 2 or 3 hour break in between that, the frustration kind of builds up, and then you learn to bring it home. So what you need to learn to do also is separate home from the job. The goals that I have for myself, be emotionally honest with myself, hold myself accountable, have a support person. Like I said before, a support person is someone that you have to trust, because everybody is not trustworthy with your business. People can tear you down and not realize that they are tearing you down verbally. I have to learn to be a good communicator and express how I feel at home. I don't have a problem with communicating at work, but I do have a problem with communicating at home. I would say I have a good home support system with my husband and my children, and I have to learn to trust. Unfortunately, in my line of work, there's not much honesty. So you find yourself analyzing everything. And the last thing that you want to do is keep analyzing the people that are close to you, because it will push them away. The references that I use to do my PowerPoints and my slides were Peterson, J.C., Why Don't We Listen Better? Schultz, S. Badson's, and Business Ethics, France, De Gaulle, and Helping Skills and Human Services. Which strategies will I use to reach my goal? The strategies that I'll use to reach my goal is basically self-help and self-communication. I pretty much thank you for your time and listening to me. I know this is not the best video, but I guess I'll get better in time with making videos. I feel a little lost with this, but it's okay. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great day.